Long ago, in the heart of China, stood most magnificent palace the world had ever seen. Its walls were made of fine porcelain, so delicate and pure that the faintest touch could crack it. Golden towers stretched into the sky, and the emperor's gardens wound for miles, filled with glowing lanterns, jeweled bridges, and flowers that opened only at night. Even the paths glittered with crushed seashells. Travelers from across the world came to marvel at the emperor's court. They praised the architecture, the endless banquets, and the music of 1,000 instruments. But what they remembered most was the voice of a bird, a small, plain-looking nightingale who lived far beyond the palace gardens, deep in the woods where the trees met the sea. She had feathers the color of ash and moonlight, nothing like the peacocks or caged parrots of the court, yet her song, clear, fluid, unforced, was so beautiful that it could quiet every sound, even a grieving heart. Fishermen would pause in their rowing to hear it. Children stopped their games. Old women stood still at the edge of the forest, listening with tears in their eyes. She sang each evening, never for an audience, never for applause. But the emperor had never heard her. He lived surrounded by his court, trapped in golden rooms, hidden from the outside world by layers of ceremony. One day, a book arrived at court from a foreign land. It described the wonders of the Chinese Empire, the marble staircases, the silken robes, the walls that changed color in the sun. But one line stood out to the emperor. Most wondrous of all is the voice of the nightingale, who sings in the forest by the sea. Her song alone is worth more than all the palace jewels. The emperor frowned. "What bird?" he demanded. "There is no such thing in my kingdom I have not seen." The court was thrown into panic. If a foreign writer claimed this bird to be the pride of the empire, and the emperor himself had never heard it, something had to be done. Servants and nobles searched high and low, asking everyone in the city if they knew the nightingale. A young kitchen girl stepped forward. "I've heard her. She sings by the fisherman's harbor. I listen when I take scraps to the shore." The courtiers rushed her through the palace and out into the forest. After hours of searching, they heard a low silver whistle from the trees. There, perched on a twisted branch, sat the nightingale, small, unremarkable, quiet. "The emperor commands you to sing," they said. "I sing best when I choose to," she replied gently, "but I will go with you." That evening, the court prepared for her performance. The throne room shimmered with silk banners, crystal lights, and perfumes hanging heavy in the air. The nightingale sat on a golden stand, surrounded by people who looked at her like curiosity. Then she opened her beak. Her song spilled out like water over stones, like wind in the pine trees, like sadness and joy held in one breath. It flowed through the room and out the windows, over rooftops and canals, through the walls of the city itself. The emperor wept. Everyone did. "You must never leave me," the emperor said, choking on his words. "You will stay here. You will sing each evening beside my bed." He built her a gilded cage hung with velvet and tiny golden perches. Every day she had meals of the finest grains, the purest water, the softest cloth for her feet. But her voice began to fade. She missed the breeze, the rustling leaves, the smell of the sea. She missed singing for no reason. One night, when the guards slept and the doors were open to let in cool air, the nightingale flew away. The court awoke to panic. The emperor was enraged. But soon a replacement arrived, a gift from the Emperor of Japan, a mechanical nightingale covered in diamonds and rubies with gears inside that played a perfect imitation of her song. It sang only one melody, but it never tired. The Emperor was delighted. He wound it every evening, listened, smiled, and believed it just as good as the real thing. The court agreed. It was prettier, more predictable, and, above all, it stayed. Years passed. The Emperor grew older. The clockwork bird's gears rusted. It could no longer sing. The palace fell silent. One winter, the Emperor fell deathly ill. His body lay still in the golden bed, and the halls of the palace were hushed. Shadows gathered in the corners. Whispered voices said he would not last the night. Alone, unable to sleep, he opened his eyes and saw figures around him. Memories, regrets, faces he had forgotten. He reached for the music box. It was broken. Then, softly, a breeze stirred the curtains, and in the silence came a note, a single silver note. From the window, the nightingale flew in. Her feathers were dusted with frost. Her eyes were bright. She perched quietly on the foot of his bed. She sang. She sang not of palaces or of power, but of open skies and forgotten meadows, of tears once cried and hearts once healed. The shadows faded. The room grew warm. The Emperor breathed deeply for the first time in weeks. When the sun rose, the servants rushed in. The Emperor sat upright, smiling faintly. "Let her go," he said. "She is more than gold." The nightingale nodded and flew away. But every evening, when the wind changed and the leaves rustled, the Emperor would pause and listen. And somewhere beyond the city by the sea, the nightingale still sang, not for glory, not for praise, but because it was her gift to give.